forget 2017 at home, my first Cat-Griz playing, and Nick Lassane, who, I mean, was just an awesome, tough back, awesome blocking for him, great dude. And I just remember all year he could never, like, I don't want to say finish, but he would always get caught, like, before he'd break a huge run and he'd never finish so he can get a touchdown. And I always felt so bad for him because he put in all this work and go down there 80 yards and get tripped up on the last play. And it was kind of a running joke. And then Cat-Griz, he broke one. I think we were on like the 20. We were like on our 20, so we were deep. And, he came out of the line and just shot through. And I just remember like running down there and looking at him. He was looking up at the scoreboard, making sure nobody was there to hawk him. And it was hilarious because he was like trying to like juke the guy behind him, and he ended up strolling in. But I just remember that. I thought it was pretty funny and an awesome memory for sure.
Not growing up in Montana, when did you realize how big this rivalry really was?
Yeah, I mean, right away. As soon as this week hit, I mean, obviously, it's played at the end of the season, so it's kind of weird because, everybody's always, the Cat-Griz game, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, well, we've got 10 other games before that. We got to, we're not just planning for that one game, which is difficult to do sometimes. But yeah, I mean, just seeing how big it is, especially like driving down there as a freshman and, seeing the crowd and everything like that, seeing the intensity from the crowd and the players and all the coaches of that week, it was, you just kind of knew right away it's important, and you make it important for yourself, and then when you get a chance to play in it, it just makes it that much more important and special to you.
So you're a freshman, what do you think of him a lot? He said you and Tui specifically have helped him out in a big way.
Yeah, Tommy's an awesome dude, smart dude. He's literally always in here doing homework. I'm like a, graduate student. I don't really have a whole bunch of work. And even as an undergraduate, I don't remember doing, I swear he does just homework all the time. He's always in here, like I come in, lift, and he's outside the weight room doing notes, and then I leave and I go home and I take a nap and I watch film and I come back and he's still there, and I'm like, dude, what do you like? But he cares a lot about school, and he's a smart guy, and he's kind of quiet. He's a little shy. I remember in last fall, he was kind of, I think maybe our quarterbacks went out with, maybe had close contact or something like that, and so he wasn't in the room at the time, so he didn't have to he didn't have to go out, and he was the quarterback, and he came out with his mask on, which we had our masks on for the pads and stuff with helmets, but he came on and put his mask on and then strapped his chin strap on and was trying to give us the play call, and I was like, Tommy, that's not gonna work, man. I didn't say it like that. I yelled at him a little bit, but he was like, you got to just take control of this huddle, and you got to go, man. We're going to follow you. And I think that's, just some things you don't necessarily realize right away, especially as a young guy stepping in at quarterback. We're all looking to him to be our leader. Obviously, as an offensive lineman, we're trying to lead, and, it all starts up front, like we say, but the QB is really kind of the driver of the offense. So just trying to give him the most confidence, and I think he came in and did that this past weekend. He, did what he was supposed to do, did what he knew he had to do, and gave us a spark that we needed.
What was kind of the mood and going through your head at halftime in that game after a kind of disastrous end to the half?
Yeah, I'll step up right away and say I let up that sack at the end of the half, and just a bad play to end on, for sure. We got a little bit more momentum going. I take responsibility for that, especially as a senior left tackle. I was pretty upset with myself. The guys knew I was upset. Obviously, nobody was happy. We didn't really finish the way we wanted to. We came out and we started pretty decently, but a lot of guys were saying that we talked about this week, or kind of yesterday and stuff, is that first half flew by. We were kind of sitting on the bench. It's like, oh my gosh, it's already the second quarter. Just knowing we got 4 opportunities in the first half is what we talked about this morning, to go down and get some scores. And obviously we didn't finish all of them, but just like that, only 4 opportunities in the first half, and it's if you don't capitalize on all those, that makes it difficult. That makes it harder on you for sure. And you got to give it to Idaho there. It's kind of frustrating because you see people after the games well, how do you keep it that close to Idaho? Because I think a lot of people just look at record, especially fans and stuff like that, which is tough and it's understandable. Obviously, they don't have a great record, but they were a good team. They had a lot of playmakers. They had a lot of guys who could make plays and step up, and they had a lot of guys who did make plays. They had nothing to lose. They were throwing everything they had at us, and that's what we expected. And we knew if we didn't take care of business and we kind of hurt ourselves a little bit, that they could stay in it. And I think you kind of look at games like they played like UC Davis, and they played them super tight. There was obviously some games that got away from them, but we knew that they were a good team and that they were capable of beating us. And luckily, we were able to come out on top and figure it out. But you just got to give it up to them because they played their asses off, and they were a good team and one of the best boxes we've played this year. I mean, they had that linebacker Trey Walker, who was flying around making all the plays, and their D-line was stout and physical and strong, and they brought some looks that we hadn't seen before, that we didn't practice for, that kind of got us off schedule. And that's just how football goes, It doesn't always go your way. It's not always how you plan. It's all about how you make the adjustments. And we came in and we made the adjustments and got it going and finished strong.
How do you react when you hear people, if you do say, that was a look ahead spot and the Cats were looking past Idaho?
Yeah, I mean, again, outside perspective, you try to just block all that stuff out, good, bad, and different. Obviously, it's great to have support and all that stuff, but there's always going to be people who say, oh, they didn't do this right, they didn't do this right, whatever it is. And to me, I don't really pay much attention to it because, A, they probably don't know what they're talking about. They've never competed at this level, they've never coached at this level, they've never had the experience that all of us do, and that's fine. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, which is fine, but that's what it is. As a college athlete, as any athlete knows, you just kind of have to be willing to take that. I mean, it is what it is. People are going to give their opinion, and it is what it is, and you just got to kind of roll with it and stay focused on yourself, because if you let the outside noise creep in, it can get bad and get detrimental to yourself and the team. But I think we do a pretty good job of, we love the support, we love the help, we love opinions, all that stuff, and we just kind of play our game and do what we do. We're not on social media, we're not on, like you see some teams and some players around the country, they talk back to media or they talk back to fans on Twitter or Instagram. Like, we don't do that. We don't need to do that. It's fine. Like, give your opinion, that's all right, and we're just going to go about our business and keep working.
And then Chase, your roommate, can you describe him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute freak. There's I don't think there's anybody on the team stronger than he is. He's really grown. I really just respected how much he's grinded. Obviously, like weight room stuff, he loves the weight room. He lives in the weight room. With Coach Wilcox, back in the day, we used to call him Coach Wilcox's son, just because he was in there literally all the time, doing random stuff. I mean, stuff that nobody else was doing. It was just like, how are you even lifting that up? How are you even doing that stuff? Even with his injuries and, his back's not super great or whatever, a knee, whatever here and there, there's still no way I'd be able to lift what he does or do the same weight that he does, even with the injuries, because he's just that strong. And I can't imagine, if he had never been injured or had never, tweaked his back or whatever had happened or whatever did happen, like, if that hadn't happened, just how much stronger he'd already be. And I mean, I don't know. He's my roommate and love him, one of my best friends again, and I like to give him a lot of crap and make fun of him. We have a pretty good back and forth. He thinks he's very, I don't know, Mondre can attest, like cut up, kind of strong, and wants to be a bodybuilder type, so we always have to humble him up a little bit and call him chubby here and there. So, you can tell him I said that too, but no, great dude, great playmaker. Like Troy said, I mean, he just dominates, and there's not a lot of situations where he's got a solo block. Like you said, like you guys saw against the Grizz in 2018, he had a solo block, and the dude was 10 yards in the backfield. He gets double teamed a lot, and he still eats double teams like a madman. It's nuts because I've watched that, and as an O-lineman, it's like a double team. You're supposed to put 600 pounds on a 260-pound guy and move him off the ball, and Chase doesn't get moved off the ball. And it's impressive, and he's just smart and great guy and great player. So yeah, it's awesome to have as a teammate.